Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Since I received so much feedback for the video I did regarding Roberto Duran's comments about Floyd Mayweather being ordinary in his era, basically not even being able to compete with the fighters of his era, I decided to elaborate on this video and respond to some of the comments that was posted on my video. Now, before I get into some of those comments, I want to make this clear. When it comes to the sport of boxing, the ultimate goal to win a match is to land more punches than your opponent does and to get hit with the least amount of punches than your opponent gets hit with, right? No matter what your style is, it doesn't matter if you're a brawler, counter puncher, a runner, a boxer puncher. It doesn't really matter. If that fight goes 12 rounds, that's what the judges are going to base the fight on. They're going to base the fight on who landed the most punches, who was far more effective in landing the most punches, and who deflected the most punches. Now, sure, we can speculate a lot of different things, but when it comes to facts and the truth, those things cannot be denied. Now, when it comes to some of those facts, Floyd Mayweather, he has the highest accuracy when it comes to punches being landed and connected than any other fighter in the history of the sport. Now, that's a fact. That's not just speculation. That's not talking, oh, what if it was 1980? And it's not any speculation. These are facts, right? Another fact is when it comes to opponents landing punches on Floyd Mayweather, he holds the lowest percentage of punches landed on him in the history of the sport of boxing. So technically, you know what that means? That means that Floyd Mayweather is the most accurate puncher in the history of the sport. And he's also the best defensive fighter in the history of the sport. A lot of people love to say and admit, even the people who hate Floyd Mayweather, they love to admit he's the best defensive fighter, right? But they hate to admit that he's also, you could say, one of the best, if not the best, offensive fighter as well, because numbers don't lie. If you can land a higher percentage of punches standing right in front of your opponent than anyone else can without getting hit back in return, then that means you are arguably the greatest, if not one of the greatest, offensive fighters of all times. Now, this is not to suggest that Floyd Mayweather beats every single great fighter of any era at all. But it is to suggest that Floyd Mayweather, he would have been a handful for any fighter to deal with, which is something that Sugar Ray Leonard said. Once again, like I said, when you go back to what Duran said, I find it pretty funny that the guy who lost to all of these guys, he says Floyd Mayweather would have been nothing in his era. But the guy who was the biggest fighter of his era, which was Sugar Ray Leonard, he says Floyd Mayweather, he would have been able to compete in any era. That kind of gives you a good idea of who's making more sense. So anyway, before I go any further comparing Mayweather to Duran, let me go ahead and go into one of these comments that was sent to me. Quote, the Duran at welter, especially the Duran that took it to Leonard in their classic first fight, would have had Floyd's ass within 10 rounds. Sounds more like you're a Floyd nuthugger, whom forgets, though he's beat mostly everyone. The talent levels between Floyd's opponent versus Duran isn't even close. You say Duran lost to everyone. That was after his prime, and much heavier than his usual lightweight. He gave them all hell in most of the fights, too. The man was regarded as one of the smartest, too. End quote. Now let me explain something, guys. It's really interesting when it comes to Floyd Mayweather and a lot of the haters who hate Floyd Mayweather. Because you see, haters have completely given up on anyone beating Floyd Mayweather today. Which that in itself already tells you deep down how good even the haters think that Floyd Mayweather is. They don't even realize they're praising Floyd Mayweather just like the people who like and love Floyd Mayweather. But they don't realize it though. Because whenever you basically suggest that Floyd Mayweather, he's going to beat someone like a Canelo Alvarez easy because, that's just another one of his hand-picked opponents, right? Floyd Mayweather hand-picks a guy who's supposed to be the future of the sport, who is 14 years younger than he is, who is way stronger, naturally bigger than he is, and has the confidence of a young lion. So this guy who just made this comment on my video, he says Floyd Mayweather's opponents can't even compare to the level of opponents that Duran faced, right? First off, Floyd Mayweather's career is not even over yet, and he still has at least a guaranteed 5 more fights left, which we don't know who he's going to fight. But let's just look at who he already faced, and let's compare those opponents to Roberto Duran, or at least, put them against each other. Can you honestly sit here and tell me that Roberto Duran would have easily just ran over an undefeated Diego Corrales? You can't tell me that, right? What about a Ricky Hatton, an undefeated Ricky Hatton? Ricky Hatton, remember guys, Ricky Hatton had basically the exact same style as Roberto Duran. Ricky Hatton was an extremely aggressive mauler type fighter. That's exactly how Roberto Duran beat Sugar Ray Leonard in their first fight. What Roberto Duran would do is he would maul you. He would throw punches and then he would tie you up. He would wrestle, he would throw punches, wrestle, throw punches, wrestle. That's exactly the way Ricky Hatton fights. I mean, you can't sit here. I mean, none of us can really say who would have won that fight, but I think we can definitely say that it wouldn't have just been a walk in the park for Duran to beat someone like an undefeated Ricky Hatton. A Ricky Hatton who, by the way, had knocked Jose Luis Castillo out very easy with a hook to the body, right? I mean, let's just look at a lot of these opponents that Floyd Mayweather fought and put them in the ring with Roberto Duran. Remember, guys, Roberto Duran, the only win, the best win he had on this record was against Sugar Ray Leonard, right? But then, of course, Sugar Ray Leonard came right back and beat him, and Roberto Duran never fought a rubber match in his prime. So that tells you that he didn't have the confidence that he could ever beat Sugar Ray Leonard again. Of course, he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, way after the fact when they were both way past their prime. It was more of a senior citizens bout then, right? But like I said, he lost to every single fighter that he faced. I mean, giving him credit for beating Sugar Ray Leonard the first time and then losing, that's like giving Clubber Lang, credit for beating Rocky Balboa the first time. It doesn't really make any sense. People don't remember Clubber Lang for beating Rocky Balboa. They remember Rocky avenging his loss, which is what great champions do, right? So let's go back into comparing Roberto Duran against a lot of Floyd Mayweather's opponents. So like I already said before, Diego Corrales would not be a guaranteed win for Roberto Duran. He probably wouldn't even win the fight, right? Ricky Hatton, undefeated, that would be a competitive bout, right? Now, Gennaro Hernandez, who was 5'11", long arms, knew how to box, and used to kill people with the jab, Roberto Duran would have struggled against him, right? The same Shane Mosley that knocked out what looked like was an invincible almost Margarito at the time. You put that same Shane Mosley in the ring with Roberto Duran, and I think we could all agree that that fight will be a toss-up. So for that guy who left that comment on my video saying that Floyd Mayweather didn't fight the same level of opponents that Duran did, I just debunked that shit right now. Because like I said, you could be as biased as you want to be. But deep down, the truth of the matter is, Duran would not be this huge 10-1 favorite against any of these fighters, against a Sugar Shane Mosley, against a Jenner Hernandez, Ricky Hatton, Diego Corrales, Oscar De La Hoya, and even Canelo Alvarez. Matter of fact, speaking of Canelo Alvarez, let's put Roberto Duran at age 36. Let's put Roberto Duran up against Canelo Alvarez. The same Canelo Alvarez that Floyd Mayweather is about to fight, right? When Roberto Duran was 36, let's go back into time and let's match him up with Canelo, right? Not only match him up with Canelo, but let's match him up with a Canelo at a higher weight class, right? And let's put Duran in the exact same scenario that Floyd Mayweather is in today, all right? Canelo Alvarez is 14 years younger than Duran. He's much stronger than Duran, and like I just said, he's in a higher division. Duran is jumping up another weight class to fight Canelo Alvarez. So how does Roberto Duran do in a fight like that? Now, if you guys want the answer to that, we can go off of what the dumbass fans have been saying on my videos, on my previous video about, Duran versus Floyd Mayweather. If you want to know how he would do, just read my comments. This is what all the dumbass fans say on my videos. They say, and it's so funny how they make things so conveniently coincidental for them, right? For example, they say Roberto Duran, when he beat Sugar Ray Leonard, that was when he was at his best. But all of a sudden, out of the blue, 6 months later, now Duran is past his prime. I mean, this is what the dumbass fans who defend Duran say. So according to all the Duran supporters, they say Duran was at his best when he beat Sugar Ray Leonard. And of course, soon as he lost, he was way past his prime, even though he was only 29 years old when he lost to Sugar Ray Leonard. Then these same dumbass fans, they say more incriminating shit that makes their own guy look less of a great fighter. What I mean by that is when they say, you have to remember, Duran used to always blow up in between fights. He would get completely out of shape. And yeah, that's the reason why he lost against Sugar Ray Leonard in a rematch. So wait a minute. So you telling me that's something that can be justifiable? That justifies Roberto Duran being a great fighter? So if you put all of that shit together and you put Roberto Duran against Canelo Alvarez, let's just do the tell of the tape and let's break it down real quick, right? Now we know that Canelo Alvarez is a young, strong lion. He's looked at as the future of the sport, right? And then you have a guy, Roberto Duran, who's 36 years old, who gets completely out of shape in between fights, right? He does not believe in hard work, dedication like a Floyd Mayweather. He believes in sitting on his ass and pigging out and then trying to take water pills and all kind of shit like that to hurry up and get in shape, right? Who would win that fight? Roberto Duran at age 36 or Canelo Alvarez at age 23? I think we can all say Canelo Alvarez will be favored to win that fight, right? I mean, think about it. Like I said, by the fans' own admission, Duran did not train like a true champion. He did not believe in hard work, dedication. According to the fans, Duran was past his prime at age 29. Okay? According to the fans, Duran was never the same when he moved up in weight. So who wins that fight between Duran and Canelo? Well, according to the Duran fans, Canelo will win that fight. Because according to them, Duran was past his prime at 29. So he couldn't possibly beat this guy at age 36, who was 14 years younger than him and naturally stronger.